Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to begin with the third semester signatures English text, and then the signature includes basically the three modules: autobiographical writings, memoirs, speeches, testimonies, and then the third module include diary entries and letters. So let's begin with the first module, which actually contains 4 units, and today we are going to cover the first unit, written by the famous writer Pablo Neruda. So let's begin with Neruda's one of the most famous writings, The Words, which is actually a kind of poem which is being taken from excerpts from memoirs. So let's move forward. Before going into the first unit, that is the words, let's find out the difference of the autobiographical writings and memoirs. When we say autobiographical writings and memoirs, there is a difference. So let's firstly see at what difference does the autobiographical writings and memoirs do have. So the first one, when so let's firstly see what autobiography means, because we are more familiar with autobiographies than with memoirs. So first, when you see the right side column, you'll see the autobiography. See, autobiographies basically focuses on the entire life of a person, which is written in a chronicle order. So it could be any person's life history from beginning till end. So it might include the date of birth till his journey up to which he has completed his life. He or she has completed his life. So it is actually a kind of historical writing, because a person who is neither in this world, no more in the world, we are going to write about that particular person. So it's going to include such kinds of writings. Okay, so it follows a basic order which should be followed. Then talking about a memoir, it focuses on some of the incidents taken from our life. So it could be personal, we could put out our own viewpoints on that particular incident, right? So today we are going to look into such a beautiful memoir, an excerpt taken from memoir of Pablo Neruda. So it's actually the kind of poem which is being written in a italics manner. The whole poem goes in an italics way. So before going into the poem, we have a brief description about the poet, which is being given in your text. So just a few important points are being included in this slide. So according to which could be helpful by writing the answers. Okay, so let's look into the writer's introduction. That is Pablo Neruda, who has written the poem, The Words. Okay, so he was born on 12th July 1904 in Parral, Chile. So he is one of the beloved poet of Chile, and then he was a diplomat, a politician, and a supporter of the Communist Party. And talking about his parents, his father was a railway employee and mother was a teacher who died just after his birth. Okay, 2 months just after his birth. Now he began writing at the age of 13, which is a very important point. And then his first work, which was being published, was the book Return, Enthusiasm and Perseverance. Okay, so most renowned literacy works of him includes the 20 love poems, a song of despair. Now he wrote a very famous book, that is the Canto General, which is actually a collection of poems which was being published in 1950. Its main theme included the life of workers and politically oppressed ones. Okay, so Canto General also celebrates the Latin American heritage of Neruda. So the book Canto General has its own importance over here. Now he has won a lot of prizes, which include the International Peace Prize of 1950, Stalin Peace Prize of 1953, and then again in the same year he won the Lenin Peace Prize, and then the Nobel Prize for Literature, which is a very important one, which must be included, right? So the date also has its own importance, that is 1971. And then he died in 1973 due to cancer. So this is all about the poet or the writer, which must these are the important points which must be included in your answers while answering a particular question. So these are some of the main points about the writer. From these 2 pages, I just found these as important. So this could be written and included while writing your answers to make it more attractive. Then moving on to the poem, let's first see the introduction of the poem. What kind of work is this? It's actually a short but kind of poem, introduction poem, whose speaker is the author himself. Okay, so the word is a great Pian poem, poetry. The whole passage is rendered in italics and stands out like a poem. Okay, so it makes use of a lot of images. It could be wild images, domestic images in a sense, or make use of surrealistic expression. Surrealistic expression is a kind of expression which is usually used to bridge the gap between the reality and imagination. So to fill that particular gap, we bring out both realistic things as well as imaginary things into a connection. So that's what we mean by surrealistic expressions. So it is a highly suggestive and picture poem. And then moving into the poem, this is the first paragraph. Basically, I have divided this poem entirely into four paragraphs, which is on different themes, right? So these poems actually has the three main themes. That is the use of domestic images in the first starting passages of this poem, and then the next comes the comparing of words to delicious dishes, and then lastly critical remarks against colonization and foreign invasions is being included in the poem. Now let's move on to the poem. So at first I'll be reading the passage and then we'll be conveying what these lines suggest. Okay, so you can say anything you want, yes sir, but it is the words that sing, that soar and dissent. I bow to them, I love them, I cling to them, I run them down. I bit into them, I melt them down. I love words so much, the unexpected ones, the ones I wait for greedily or stalk for until all of a suddenly they drop. So this is the first passage of the poem, the words, which actually is very beautifully written. The poet actually wants to convey what he does with words, what importance do words have in his life. So the persona about him in the poem expresses his great love for words that enables him to write good poetry. He visualizes as the words are flying around him, and he want to catch them greedily and you make use of them, right? So he loves them in respect. So he bows to them because he has the following respect for these words because they form the raw materials for his poetry. Just like for a manufacture of anything, we need raw materials. The same way for the manufacture or for building up his poetry, to write up his poetry, he needs some raw materials. And these words are the raw materials of his poem. So these words cling, run them down, bit, melt them, show the poet's intense passion for poetry. So as these lines suggest that he sang to them, that saw, that descent, he bowed to them, he loved them, he cling to them, he run them down, he bit into them, he melt them, he loves words so much. So these are the things which he do with words. He just makes use of words in kind that he totally uh, shows his passion towards writing poems. So he brings the images of a hungry man who is gulping down the words as if it was delicious food. He greedily waits and stalks unexpected words until they drop. The images of stalks, a person who follows a loved object, adds to the intensity of love for language. So these are from these all things we could say that what does the poet do with the words. He want to sing with words, he want to solve them, he want to dissent them, he want to bow to them, he loves them, he clings to them, he run them down, he bit them, he melt them, and he loves words so much. So here you could create a question as if what does the poet do with the words? So this could be asked as a question. Okay. So then the following lines come as he loves the unexpected ones the most. Okay. So here also another question could be created that what kind of words do the writer loves the most? He loves the unexpected ones, which comes into a mind all of a sudden. right? So he loves that kind of words so much, and then he stocks them as greedily as possible. Stock in the sense he stores them greedily. At that particular thing, he finds himself greedy towards words. Okay,